Hi, my name is Tyler Hembry, and the title of today's presentation is Get a Grip, Baseball Grips and Tips for Pitchers. The purpose of this presentation is to introduce and to go into some detail about four of the most basic and fundamental pitches in baseball. We'll discuss the various grips that make them work, and we'll talk about a few key pointers and tips that can make those pitches even more successful. We'll be talking about four different pitches today, like I already mentioned. We'll talk about the two-seam fastball, the four-seam fastball, the curveball, and the changeup. While these pitches are basic and fundamental, they're also extremely important. Whether you go watch a Little League game or you go watch a Major League Baseball game, these four pitches are going to be used and used effectively. So we'll talk about how you can harness those abilities in your own pitching repertoire. The first pitch we'll talk about is going to be the two-seam fastball. The key with the two-seam fastball is finger placement. The pointer finger and the middle finger, which are your two most important fingers in any pitch, are going to rest along the inner portions of the baseball, along these narrow seams right here. So you're going to rest them along the inside seam. The release on the two-seam fastball should be a flick of the fingers off the ball. You want to roll the baseball off of these two fingers and propel it towards the plate. The goal is to have a high velocity pitch with a little bit of subtle movement. Next, we'll talk about the four-seam fastball. The grip on the four-seam fastball, you're going to have your two fingers again across the horseshoe seams. So they're going to rest across the horseshoe seams. And we want to make sure that when we release the four-seam fastball, that again, we're flicking the ball away from our body, away from our hand, and rolling it towards our target. The desired outcome of the four-seam fastball is a high-velocity pitch with a high degree of control. Next, we'll talk about the curveball. The curveball, for it, you're going to grip the right side of the horseshoe, so it'll be right here. And the biggest difference here between the curveball and the fastballs is going to be the release. We want to spin the ball downward and clockwise away from our hand on the release. A nice flick and a downward and away spin. Purpose of the curveball is to provide an off-speed pitch as well as that moves both vertically and horizontally. The last pitch we're going to talk about today is the changeup. The grip on the changeup. There's a lot of variations, but basically any grip that gets more hand, more palm on the ball. You want to wrap these fingers around, and you can do a circle change or you can just do a basic change. But again, the more surface area in contact with the ball, the better. And on the release, we want to push the ball out of our hand. No flicking of the fingers here. We just want to push the ball out of our hand. It's going to give that change of pace that we're looking for. All right, well, that's everything we have for today. Hopefully these quick pointers and tips help you in your pursuit of better pitching. Happy pitching.